Hello, hello, hello. How we doing today? My name is Spectrum Dominus, and today we are sorting cards for grading purposes. Now, if you're watching the series, you know that we do three different, try to keep a rotation going so that we're not sorting the same cards back to back to back to back. I usually keep a complete set that I pull portions of out. We sort those, and then we keep going. Then we'll do a video where I sort from my old collection from 30 years ago when I was a kid, or a box that I opened off stream somewhere, and then back to the set. So we keep kind of a rotation going. Today we're starting a new set. We finished the 1988 score set. I see my hands going a whole lot. I've got the stream up over here. So every time I do this, a delay happens where they vroom, vroom, vroom. It's very funny. It's amusing. I'm amusing myself by just doing this. It's just cascading all over the place. But we finished the 1988 score set 3 videos ago. So it's time to start a new set. Today we're starting the 1991 top set. Now this is a sealed set. I have not opened this one. A lot of the sets that we open, the factory sets we open and pull out the best cards. When I was a kid, my parents bought me complete sets for Christmas. Those were my Christmas presents, were sets of sports cards. And to interact, play with my toys, I would open the sets and put them in order. It was a way I got to, again, interact with them, and I got to see all the cards, but I put them, because they're not in order in the box usually. I'd pull them out, I'd sort them, and I put them in order and put them back in the box. And then they'd sit in the box in order for 30, I don't know how many years this has been. I guess 35 years since this happened. So that's kind of what a lot of these sets we're going through is. But every once in a while, there'd be a set that I just never got to. I never opened this one. So this one I'm opening today. They're going to be all out of order. It's not going to be like with the score where we know the first 220 cards has a Don Mattingly, a Bo Jackson, a Barry Bonds, etc., etc. This one is going to be random. And because it's 792 cards, essentially 800 cards, we're going to split this one into 4 groupings of approximately 200 cards each, instead of the 3 groupings we did with the score of 220 cards. So here we go. I'm opening it up for the first time. I'm throwing this $24 out the window. The set is worth approximately $24. It's still taped closed. Sometimes with these sets, and I don't think 91 has it, but I know like 93 does. Can't wait to do the 93 set. They'll have like Topps Gold cards in there as well. Just a small pack of 10 Topps Gold cards or something like that. And that's always neat. This one, however, doesn't have anything like that. It does, however, have more tape on the sides. Now, most of this, we're not getting cards to grade. The Chipper Jones card, I absolutely will be grading once PSA opens up the grading service again. All right, let's show how pretty this is. Let's do this and show that the instant win's still there. They're all, you can see those haven't been broken apart yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. You see how there's a section in the middle that's like lower? I'm going to do one of these outside sections, and then the other outside section, and then that middle section that's longer, I'm going to break in 2. So that'll be the 4. So today we're just going to grab whatever one of those outside sections. So it may be more than 200. It's probably going to be more than 200 when I do the 2 outside sections, and then the inside section is probably less than 400, so it'll be more like 150, but you'll see how that works. All right, so we got these Topps game cards. Instant win game. Mailing address. There you go, guys. Take the information. I think you need this card. Oh well, you can't win that anymore, I guess, because I just threw the card out. So let's quickly and safely pull these cards out. So yeah, the cards like the Chipper Jones rookie, I believe that's probably the best card in the set. Aside from some error cards, we'll try to notice the error cards. have them up here, white frames and hands through, whatever. But when I scroll down and I look and look, it's like Sammy Sosa is a $2 card. Mark McGuire is a $2 card. Jose Gonzalez is a $2 card. There's a lot of $2 cards. Nolan Ryan. But a lot of these people are also in my PC. So even though they're $2 cards, they're going in my personal collection. So, all right, we just got a stack next to me here. We're going to go through these one at a time. Jim Presley, 90% of these cards I'm going to call trash. Trash, if you're not part of this channel, is not trash. Nothing is trash. Well, that's not true. You put a piece of tape or you write across it, it becomes trash. But these cards go sorted into team sets, and then if you buy a team set from me, 100 cards for $1 of the Dodgers, whatever, you might get a Mike Scioscia because, is he a Dodger? Did I say that right? All-star catcher. Why would you show the triples leaders and he's not a triple leader? He doesn't have any leaders. Wow. I'm pretty sure he's a Dodger there. National League. Yeah. Okay. That's his Dodgers. That's his time as a Dodger. All right. Chris Hoyles, Mike Devereaux, Roy Smith. Oops. I left one there. Kelly Gruber, Roy Smith, Frank Viola, Jerry Don Gleaton, John Shelby, Wally Whitehurst, Gene Nelson, Scott Bankhead, Larry Cassian, Rafael Palmeiro. Now that is not someone I collect, but we are going to put him over here to make sure that that card is not considered a $2 card online. Mark Grace, same with that. Any of these guys that were all-stars, stars during that time period that I don't collect. It's a very famous leg lift. Usually, most people know it from the 1989 score. Paul Gibson, his leg lift, and then you could see the shortstop in the background scratching his crotch. Very famous era card. They released it again with it blurred out. But Chili Davis, Gene Harris, Fred Lynn, Vicente Palacios, Hector Villanueva, Clay Parker, Luis Polonia, Ernie Witt, Kelly Gruber, Trevor Wilson, Kevin Tapini, Jeffrey Leonard, checklist. Now, I saw that the checklist, there are a couple checklists high on the thing. 656. Let's see if this is 656. It's not. And John Franco. If we see checklist 656, we'll take a second to check to see if it's the error card. Because one of them is going for 628 and the other is going for 350. So we'll find out. Andre Dawson. Now, Andre Dawson is someone I collect. The Hawk. Slide that in there. And we'll stick that in my PC. Greg Brintley. Darren Fletcher. Eric Show. Bill Swift. Lou Whitaker. Fred McGriff. Bruce Hurst. Robin Yount. That's another one I collect. I am a big Robin Yount fan. Jose De Jesus. Xavier Hernandez. John Mitchell. Felt like Ryan Sandberg. Oh, we got another one in there. There's a checklist. Let's check this one. 656. All right. So it says Vincent Palacio, 433. He's on Pittsburgh. So Vincente Palacio, 438. So if it's 348, it's 350. And if it's 433, it's 650. It's 620. But because this one's 438, I see they mixed up the number twice. This one's the regular one that's not worth anything. All right. Sandberg, however, that is my number one all-time favorite second baseman. We keep those. Dennis Rasmussen. Matt Noakes, Brett Saberhagen, Carlos Martinez, Will Clark. All right. We've had this debate many, many times, and Nolan Ryan right under him, about whether I collect Will Clark or not. Well, off screen, I have started lists to help me decide who I'm keeping and who I'm not. So I have a structured list, and Clark made the list. So I am now keeping Clark. The number of cards of Clark's and Gary Carter that I've thrown away into the trash of sorting that I would have kept is high. But those two are now on the list, as is Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan is the starting pitcher on my all-time team. Him and Greg Maddux, I go back and forth which one I like more. Mike Moore, Tom Pagnazzi, Julio Franco, Tony Gwynn. There's another one I love. Howard Johnson. Oddly enough, Howard Johnson made my top 10 all-time third baseman list. Not by skill, by my like. There's a lot of people that came before him that I don't even really know. I never watched play. So, but Hojo, I was a big fan of Hojo. He made number 10. Snuck in there as the 10th third baseman. I'm big into third baseman. The first 7 or so are all ones that I really like. 5 of them I collect. Eric Hansen, 7 or so, 8 or so. 8. The number 8 isn't even going to make my display case. Makes me sad. Pete Smith, Lonnie Smith. Here's a checklist. That one's not the one because we already know. All right, Casey Kendale, Tom Foley, Bobby Cox, Carmelo Martinez, Sean Bosky, Tim Hullett, Tim Jones, Edgar Martinez, John Smiley, Randy Johnson. There's another one of the guys I collect. You guys are sitting here going, you just collect all the stars. That is pretty much true. I do collect all of the stars. Willie McGee, Mike Scott, Joe Morgan, Jose Canseco. I collect Jose Canseco. It is true. Tim Drummond, Bob Milacki, Delano DeShields, and Rick Aguilera. All right, I don't believe Delano DeShields is worth keeping an eye on. But I just wanted to check. Okay, no, we're not worried about it. Okay, not worried about it. Here we go. Gerald Young. Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray is one of the ones I collect. A lot of first baseman. First baseman is the only list on mine. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I have display cases like this one behind me, and they have 5 rows, and they fit 7 cards across, whether it be in one touches, top loaders, or PSA. It's 7 cards across is all you can fit on there without overlapping. So I do all my rankings in 7s. So if this was baseball, which we're opening, this would be starting pitchers, first catchers, first baseman, second. I can't go down. That's weird. First baseman, second baseman, third baseman, and then I'd have another one next to it that goes shortstop, right field, center field, left field, DH, or something along those lines. So I rank the top 10, but only the top 7 get display privileges. So when I say something like, I collect more first basemen than I have display purposes for, it means that there are 8 first basemen that I actually collect, but I only have 7 display options for them once I make my all-time display. For those of you who don't know, I am currently working on displays for my favorite Tampa team. So I have a setup for my Tampa Bucks, my Tampa Rays, and my Lightning, all with 2 displays and all set up, and the cards that I've purchased for them, I actually took pictures to show you guys. I have the pictures now. I don't have them set up. I was supposed to set it up so I can show you guys. We'll see if we can do that next week since I'm a big slacker. But yeah, so Larry Anderson. So this is all a part of it. Is there a card here that needs to be graded? Is there a card here that needs to go into my PC or into a display? That Jose Canseco is going to go into the display for the Tampa Bay Rays because he's on my all-time favorite Tampa Bay Rays DH list. He's one of the things. And that's the first Jose Canseco I've run across. So I'll stick it in there, and then I'll buy something that's a much higher, better card. And then that'll slide into my PC at that point. Terry Kennedy, Ozzie Canseco, Jose's brother, did not pan out to the same level. Alan Trammell, on my shortstop lists, he will make the display. He is number 7, but I don't collect him. I only collect the first 6 shortstops. So it's just little things like that I learned doing these lists. Harold Reynolds, Alan Trammell, probably, but that's all right. Andy McGaffin, Matt Sinatro, Craig Gerbeck, Mil Stottlemyre, Mike Stanley, Phil Bradley, Greg Brock, Dave Hollins, Jeff Blauser. Now, I feel like that's a rookie. No, it's not. When was his rookie? 89? 87. So 88 cards. Doug Drabeck, Wilson Alvarez, Cal Daniels, Larry Sheets, Tim Leary, Paul Molitor. That's one of my guys. Another third baseman I collect. Marty Clary, Mike Bielecki, David Cone, one of the guys that's new first out of the list. David Cone, almost a collector for me. George Brett, we collect George Brett. Stump Merrill. Back here, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. But Tampa Bay Rays only came around in 1998. We're opening 1991, and I was a collector back in 1991. So I was a Yankee fan. Grew up, I was born in New York, moved here when I was 2, so I'm not really attached to New York, but my family is. And so Stump Merrill, I remember that manager growing up. John Dobson, Spike Owens, George Brett, another George Brett, back-to-back, and Curt Schilling. And I wonder about that Curt Schilling. I think he's 89. Yeah, he's 89. This is, I don't know about his first tops. I'm going to move it over here. Mark Portugal and Craig Biggio is definitely someone I collect. All right. Definitely one of my guys. Man, I'm doing great for the PC. This is awesome for the PC. All right, we got Dave West, Tino Martinez, Alejandro Pena, Lance Parrish, Randy Reddy, Rick Honeycutt, Otis Nixon, Terry Pendleton, Sid Fernandez, Joe Orslak, Bob Welsh, Don Carmen, Eric Anthony, Darryl Strawberry. Oddly enough, 2 other people like Will Clark and Gary Carter, ones that I said these guys are part of the first few out. Will Clark, Gary Carter, Doc Gooden, and Darryl Strawberry. Well, Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden, once I did the lists, they slid in. We're now collecting Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. Bud Black, Jesse Orosco, Kirk Gibson, Glenn Wilson, Cecil Fielder, Bobby Ojeda, John Russell, Jack Savage, Juan Berenger, Jay Howell, checklist number 787, which is the last in the box, right? That's it. No, 792. All right, Alan Trammell, Jim Aker, Pat Combs, Henry Cotto, Oddibe McDowell, Ronnie Walden, number 1 draft pick. Record breaker Ryan Sandberg, Neil Heaton, and Matt Young. We're going to sleeve this, and then I got one more stack, rather large part of the stack, but I should be able to fit that all into one hand. There we go. This is it. Finishing this up, we got Bill Wegman, John Orlerud, Randy Tomlin, Lance Johnson, Zane Smith, Dave Righetti. Dave Righetti made the number 10 spot on my relievers list. Mark Salas, Kevin Gross, Kevin Bass, Dion James, Tom O'Malley, Andy Benez, Rick Mahler, Olindo Perez, checklist number 1 of 6, 131, Tim Burtis, Mark Guthrie, Barry Jones, Bill Bathy, Junior Noboa, Calvin Schiraldi, Dave Johnson, John Cerruti, Steve Frey. We've gone cold. Ron Robinson, Mark Whitten. Oh, I know he's there. Tom Glavine. Tried to pass up Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine has got to be one of the better ones. What? No, he's also 89. He's also 89. Yeah. All right. Well, he's someone I collect too. Man, I've got my mind set on that like 89 area, and I can't get my rookies in my head for 91. Wally Backman, Mike Dunn, Tom Herr, Sam Horn, Tony Fernandez. Tony Fernandez made my shortstop list, but he was number 8, so he's not in the display. Brian Holman, Norm Charlton, Brett May, Chet Lemon, Omar Vizquel, Mike Stanton, Brian Barnes. Oh, wait a second. Just quickly, we're going to go back. Mark Whitten was just done. And Mark Whitten was the one with the hand outside the border. So let's just make sure. No, his hand is inside the border. The hand outside of the border card, this part continues, and it's over there. So just wanted to make sure we didn't get that one, because that one's a $24 card. We did get the Doug Drabek as well. I want to know what with white frame means, though. I really got to look into that. Mike Gallego, Walt Terrell, Tony Fosasis, Denny Martinez, record breaker Kevin Moss, Kevin Reamer, Bobby Valentine, Glenn Davis, Lee Stevens, Steve Alboni, Florida Gator, Jeff Treadway, Brent Nackert, Bobby Thigpen. Bobby Thigpen's my number 2 all-time reliever, but I don't collect relievers. Only Dennis Eckersley. Keith Comstock, Jody Reed, Greg Maddux. That's my boy. Ken Hill, Chuck Finley, Doug Dacienzo, Mark Williamson, Lee Smith, and Terry Mulholland. All right, let's quickly see if we can find that Doug Drabek. Doug, where you at, Doug? 90% sure that we got a Doug Drabek. It could be over there already, but that's all right. Let's quickly go through. I'm just going to thumb through. There's the Whitten. Whitten says white border too. Let's see. Maybe if I can bring up the picture. Yeah, I don't see anything different, but we're going to go to the Dreybeck because the Dreybeck is the one that's actually pointed out. Oh, and while we're doing this, what's that other name? The other name is Chris Hoyles. So if we happen to run across Chris Hoyles again while we're doing this, assuming Chris Hoyles got pulled, that one I don't remember specifically. Don't remember specifically. All right. Yeah, we're going to end up, it's going to end up being in the first stack over there. It's a good thing I brought up the list to forget to look at it when and remember the people that I brought it up for. Oh, George Brett I sleeved and then stuck back on the... I'm glad I went through. I'd have lost that George Brett. Lost it. I would have noticed when I was sorting for team sets. Cone. There's the Doug Dreybeck. Okay, let's bring up the Doug Dreybeck. White frame. I'm looking at the picture. Okay, so you see this black box here? In the picture, that's white. That is what we're looking at. And there's a picture with Witten next to him, but the Witten is blue, just like mine, but its hand has gone through. So they accidentally put that picture with it, even though. The Chris Hoyles that I'm looking at is the same thing. Let's just, since we've gone this far, let's see if we see Chris Hoyles. Because that one is currently showing as $31. Ungraded, $30. So. All right, we may, like I said, we may not have gotten Chris Hoyles, so that may be in a future one, and I hope I'll remember quickly this last little stack here. I know what it looks like. The back is going to be to us. He's batting like that, so his back is to us like that, but it's going to be orange because it's a Baltimore Orioles. So that should speed up the looking process. Now, if I stop to explain everything to you guys, that'll slow down the process, but only stopping when their back's to us like that. And then I'm checking to see what team it is. So 438. That's the number that it was supposed to be, and that's the one it said. So that's a different card anyway. That's not what we're talking about. All right, it looks like we didn't get Chris Hoyles yet. Oh, there he is, right there. And you see how the border's black? The border's black, it's not white. So we didn't lose out. We lost out on the money that we could have gotten for having an error card. I love error cards. That'll be a frame one day where I buy PSA versions of error cards, but we'll get to that sometime in the future. But for now, that's it for this sorting cards. We don't want to go too long. We like to keep them in the 20-minute range. So we did about a quarter of the box. We still got about 75% of the box left, but that won't be for another couple videos. In the next video, we'll be doing a Topps Chrome baseball blaster that I opened at the bar, just one blaster that's already open, so I'll be going through the cards and sorting where the cards go, whether it's a PC, hold for later, send off to get graded, etc. Just put it on eBay. whatever. We'll sort it right there. And then in 2 videos, we'll do the top. Then in 3 videos, we'll be back to this set. So that's how we run it. I will see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.